Yes.
So that's
Brad, this is where we're counting on you,
this
Brad.
is where like we, no pressure, lots though. Say something very witty right now.
Right now.
But like,
Nope.
right. I do this to Greg all the time. It's cruel and very annoying. It's like almost nobody's here. Like people have to be watching this later to get it. So we always want to try and do something super weird right in the first 30 seconds.
I love crypto, but I'm so fucking sick of the paranoid, stupid libertarians.
That's not witty. It's
this
true.
is going to be longer than 30 seconds because I just need to sit in how fucking right that is.
I love Peter McCormick's podcast. Just was listening to him interview Adam Curry, and I know this is not relevant to the listeners coming in, but
All right.
like they're paranoid about election projections, like math, Bitcoin, math, money based on math.
Right. But we're not going to do math at elections because that's
No.
voter fraud.
No.
Everyone knows that.
Exactly. So, I'm sorry. I needed a shower after
That's
listening,
honestly
so.
that's worth bringing you here just for that. Just selfishly for me. That's all I needed. You can go now. Anyway, please stick around. Don't go anywhere.
Math sucks. I hate math, but I am a recount enthusiast.
Well, good.
Recount enthusiast.
I'm glad you're not running the recount then. If you
I
hate
feel
math.
like, I actually, this is the hilarious part. In 18, I worked for Our Future. That was Tom Steyer's big pack. And at 11 o'clock on election night, I got a call from one of the state directors asking me to show up at the Hernando County Courthouse just north of us the next morning at 8 a.m. and witness the recount procedure. I was like, I don't know nothing about birth and no recounts. I had no idea. So I'm an experienced recount observer, but I had no idea what I was doing. It was,
well,
yeah, we
we
getting
know
our
who to
training.
call next time we have a recount.
We were getting our training on conference calls while we were watching the recount. It was sketchy.
Oof.
Yeah.
Dave, Friday is supposed to be about science, and y'all are talking about math, which is not different. Yeah, I mean, we really
Big Brother. I don't know.
There was a long, I guess, semi-long going theme that we had Science Fridays on this show as much as we possibly could, and then politics kind of took over. I really need to share this with you because this is the Lincoln Project being viciously fantastic.
Wait, are we going to do gratitudes first? What are
Still? Yes. Oh yeah, that other thing that we do all the time that I forget almost every day.
So please stop that screen share until we get done
that's
with
a good idea.
gratitudes. I don't want to see that.
Nobody fucking needs to see that shit more than they have to.
Right. Well, okay.
I mean, you go first.
Oh shit. I didn't have anything prepped. I just thought we should do that.
I'm grateful for audits and recounts so Trump can lose twice.
There you go. You're still a little hot there, Brad. Just still a little.
Maybe I was just a little too close.
Just when you get all up and sexy on it.
Yeah, I won't. I won't do the sex.
Whoa.
Okay, I'll stay back.
Yeah, losing twice is good. Although it'd just be better if he was gone. But I'll take it. We'll take what we can get.
I'm grateful for our apparent stunning good luck when it comes to tropical systems here in Pasco County, because twice now we've looked like we were going to really get whomped and lucked out. Irma came in a little east of where they thought, so it was pretty weak by the time it got here. This storm was our worst case scenario as far as its path went, and it started to shred south of us. So by the time it got here, we got a lot of rain and a few flooded houses, but it could have been much, much worse. So grateful for geography, I guess.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Indeed.
I'm kind of meh about every storm that came near this year because it's like, whatever.
But we broke a record. we broke a record for the number of landfalling hurricanes.
Yeah, I saw a map with all the names across it.
Yeah, and there's one more tropical system down there that's may be a depression by this morning. It was a 90% chance of becoming a tropical depression when I looked late last night, and Iota would be its name if it ends up being a named
Iota. Oh,
yeah.
Fun.
I wish I'd named one of my children that. I tell my son all the time, because I wanted to, we were going to name him Ginkgo biloba just so that in repayment for all the pain he would cause us later. And my wife vetoed that. So
I can't believe the marketing people never picked up on that Ginkgo biloba would fit perfectly in the song Guantanamera as a marketing Ginkgo biloba. I care a lot for the
I can't believe nobody else thought of that.
I
Greg.
mean,
I can't believe that was just locked and loaded for you.
yeah. I don't have any math in here, but there's a lot of song lyrics
but you got the syllable countdown.
Yes.
Yeah, and
I got the meter. Yeah, definitely.
Oh man.
So Corey, what are you grateful for?
Yeah, I'm grateful that you guys made it through the storm pretty well. I'm grateful that it was announced that New York State is going forward with fraud allegations against one currently sitting, soon to be not sitting president of the United States.
Yes.
Because I mean, the whole rule of law thing should just be a thing that we do.
Well, and the story that resurfaced yesterday that I thought was pretty interesting was that Mr. Trump has been asking for a while now, can he pardon himself? And can he pardon his family members? And I'm like, yeah, well, that's a thing a totally innocent president would definitely do. Ask if they could pardon themselves.
Well, I just keep waiting for him to resign and Pence to pardon him. But the ultimate fuck you to him would be if Pence said, yeah,
no, I don't think so.
Yes, look, we're done.
I would like a political future, therefore.
I listened to some Chris Hayes this morning, and they were talking about just how in bed the Republican Party is. And they really are terrified that the Trump family is just going to destroy any of their individual capacity to win re-election because they clearly have the entire half of the electorate locked up.
Right.
Which
it's just astounding.
This is what I live for right here. Now I got it in my Ginkgo biloba.
Really glad that was brought up again so we could have it in our heads.
Yeah, thanks.
Hey, did you guys see? Did you see the chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff giving that speech?
Hold. I have that loaded.
That just got me so excited.
Yeah, it was like
right.
Yeah. So there's the new Secretary of Defense, who is probably a turd whistle. And right underneath that guy is this fucking motherfucker who's not playing.
We are unique among militaries. We do not take an oath to a king or queen, tyrant or dictator. We do not take an oath to an individual. No, we do not take an oath to a country, tribe, or religion. We take an oath to the Constitution. And every soldier that is represented in this museum, every sailor, airman, Marine, Coast Guardsman, each of us will protect and defend that document regardless of personal price. We are unique among military.
So it was longer than that, but you get the idea. Basically saying like, we're not your like little army men that you can move around.
See, yeah, if you're gonna destroy the country, we're not helping.
See, now that sounds to me like they would not take an order from the civilian leadership of the Defense Department to deploy troops into U.S. cities.
I agree.
And while I think that's great in this instance, I
yeah, but I think he's saying that.
What if they disagreed with a president that we liked?
Well, of course, but I mean, hopefully the judgment is that, and I think the guiding principle is that the military does not involve itself in the politics of the country and is not going to help try to usurp what is obviously a done deal in a
Right.
campaign.
So like if their assessment is like we only follow legal orders, then you can go fuck yourself, basically. Right. So like a Democratic president presumably would not be putting them in a position where they had to be sort of exerting their prerogative because we would only be asking them to commit to legal orders.
So if you want to game this out a little bit, though, what does he do if the streets become filled with private militias and guns for hire?
You let the National Guards handle it.
Yeah, I guess that's true.
And I think one of the reasons for that position from the Joint Chiefs may be that let's not forget that while the National Guards are controlled by the states, they fought in Iraq and Afghanistan with the U.S. Army and the Marine Corps and the other branches. And I can't imagine a scenario where generals and colonels and majors are going to want to fight men that they fought alongside in Iraq and Afghanistan. Do you know what I mean? Because
Sure.
they train with these people, they interact with these people, they interlock in how they do things with these organizations. I can't imagine that would be a happy circumstance or one that they would want to do.
No, I agree.
So yeah, as much as I hate the idea that might happen, and I do question how some governors might deploy the National Guard.
Well, we know how DeSantis would.
Yeah, we absolutely do. Shoot looters, shoot rioters, and then
and that's
And my problem with that is, well, I'm hearing a lot of things that weren't riots called riots right now.
Exactly.
So the judgment on what constitutes rioting and looting that requires you to shoot somebody,
like looting, period. Somebody like a kid in a hoodie comes up to your door, bringing you your fucking Uber Eats, and you shoot him. Now you have a legal I was afraid he was going to loot my house.
Well, that's where Trayvon Martin was executed because he was wearing a hoodie and black. So it's not like we don't have precedent for that in the state of Florida.
Yeah, I mean that whole stand your ground law. It's just an excuse to shoot people. That's all it's ever been.
So you guys excited about the Million MAGA March?
Did you see the Proud Boys going, well, we may not get to 1 million?
Yeah.
Yesterday, they were pulling it back.
I'm excited for what happens when they think they can open carry in D.C.
Yeah.
How do they think that's going to go?
Well, if they have 1 million, they probably figure they can get away with it. But when it's 2,000, probably not so much.
Yeah, it definitely won't be 1 million. That's for sure.
Interestingly, D.C. is one of the cities that the U.S. Military can deploy in without breaking the posse comitatus rules.
All right.
So,
So, do you guys want to watch a pretty funny and awesome Lincoln Project ad, or do you want to talk about how we need to talk about Jamie Harrison being floated to run the DNC? Because that just made me fucking pissed off. Jamie Harrison, the guy who just lost to Lindsey Graham by 14 fucking points.
well, yeah. Let's watch the Lincoln Project.
I didn't hear that. Okay, go ahead. Do Lincoln Project and then.
Okay, and then we'll dig it. Because Brad, I needed to get your opinion on this too.
Yeah.
I hadn't heard.
Yeah, I will. And again, this might be
Oh
an
my
article.
God! Wait! We had the
loading
story
his name
before you. I don't know how that's even.
Yeah, we
remotely
break shit.
possible,
We
but-
break shit on coffee. We break articles from Chex Notes, The Atlantic. Anyway. Yep. Please hold. Do. I love that they just they're going to keep hitting Trump and Trumpism as long as it exists.
Dear Donald, we at the Lincoln Project just want to say it's okay.
Okay.
Seriously, we know you.
That was the original.
But this whole being president thing isn't for everyone.
No, get those lights off! Off!
It's the hardest job in the world.
Lucky I brought some notes.
And it takes a lot of qualities that you just don't have.
You're going to be fair.
Like compassion, and decency,
If you don't mind, Mr. President,
and basic reading skills.
Yosemite.
But don't worry, you've got so many other qualities.
Beautiful.
Like dancing. Kind of. Actually, forget dancing. But you're great at remembering things.
Person, woman, man, camera, TV. Thank you, everybody.
And I'm sure your kids are going places. So don't beat yourself up. Not everyone can be a two-termer. Well, this guy was. Oh yeah, that guy too. Okay, ignore that. It doesn't matter because losing doesn't automatically mean a loser or a failure or a national disgrace.
I just noticed
Who
something.
said that? Ignore that. It doesn't
Look
matter.
at all the quotes. Loser, Lincoln Project.
Yeah.
Losing doesn't automatically mean a loser or a failure or a national disgrace. Who said that? Not us.
That's really bad reporting.
Well, okay, we did. And do. And will for a long time. And yes, most of America will come to the same conclusion.
We're last, meaning we're first.
I'm sure historians will document you as being a blight on America's presidential legacy. And yes, future generations will refer to you as that turd sandwich that accidentally won an election one time.
And you'll develop like a turd mentality.
But hey, at least you're rich. Am I right? Right?
Wow, they're really good at this.
They are so good.
He's a turd sandwich. Future generations.
Oh, it's beautiful.
Anyway.
I'll be honest,
So-
Lincoln probably.
Yeah. Excuse me. So Jamie Harrison, this is a thing in the Atlantic, because Tom Perez is not running for re-election to head the DNC. Fine. I think he actually did a relatively good job, although I'd love to hear your take on that. Jamie Harrison ran against Lindsey Graham in South Carolina, lost by 14 points, I think at least, which is pretty annoying considering he raised $100 million and we were all pretty excited about it. Right? So now they're floating him as the new head of the DNC. Do you think that we should bring on and don't get me wrong, like Jamie Harrison talks a really great game, but he raised $100 million and lost by 14 fucking points. Whereas Stacey Abrams and her team, while raising some decent money, had ground game that is probably second to none in the country. Now, granted, they might have asked Stacey Abrams and she might have said, yeah, I'm going to be president in 8 years, bitch. I don't want that job. But we don't know, right? So what do you think?
I prefer people that didn't get captured. No. No. He ran a state. He was the chair of the state party, right?
Yes.
Previously. So, I mean, at least he has that experience. And real quick on Perez, anybody running the DNC that doesn't fire every consultant they have, except maybe one or two, did a bad job. So,
who do we talk to? Can I just call them and be like, okay, Brad is busy, but if you ask, real nice.
Yeah, I just don't think. I can't imagine ever doing that job again. But I really loved all the people coming out saying Lincoln Project didn't do anything, day after the election, and then of course Lincoln Project did a podcast where they ran the numbers, and lo and behold, guess what? They did exactly what they needed to do. That whole Bannon line thing. So, I really don't know how he would be as a manager, but I'm not excited about him as a campaigner. And frankly, there are two things I think we need the most of is people that get voters to the polls or to mail in their ballots, and people that know how to beat the shit out of Republicans. And so, those are my...
Stacey Abrams is what you're saying.
I would say that she's probably a very good choice.
I'm having one of those horrible moments where there's somebody's name in my head that I know I should know, and I feel bad that I don't. Who's the North Carolina congressman that sort of got North Carolina for Biden this time around? African American, been in the House for a million years.
South Carolina?
Maybe South Carolina.
Yeah, Clyburn.
Right, Clyburn. Thank you. Clyburn is who's pushing Harrison.
Okay.
That's the story. There is that's his guy, right? And so I think Clyburn is asking for this because he delivered, and so I kind of get the strategy of it, but I still don't think Harrison is the right person for this job. Absolutely thinks it should be Stacey Abrams. But maybe it's not Stacey Abrams because Biden has something else in mind for her.
Possibly.
And she might have something else in mind for
herself. Yeah.
Like running for governor again in Georgia, which is entirely plausible.
Winning again.
Right, exactly. Right. 'Cause, I mean, they've only been building capacity there, and I guess that's kind of the thing that I want to see the most of. That I don't think we saw in Florida. That I think even though we lost in Texas, I think we're seeing in Texas over and over again. They're spending money on ads, but they're spending as much or more sometimes on ground game organizations, supporting down ballot candidates, creating an army. Because without an army, your get out the vote just isn't going to work, right?
That's
like
right.
it's just not enough.
As we learned in Florida.
Yeah, twice now. It's going real good.
It's so bad here, man. It's just I just the level of incompetence in this state relative to Democrats is just.
I was shocked to find out in the rubble in the aftermath here that the Florida Democratic Party did not support the $15 minimum wage amendment on the ballot, and I'm shocked that any Democratic Party organization would think that was not a bedrock principle that they should be running on.
Yeah, and that a majority of the country wants.
Yeah,
right. Well,
it's a popular thing.
I think they're worried about this stupid socialist shit so much. Like they've been backed into the dummy corner by dummies.
Well, Terry Rizzo spoke to the Pasco County Democratic Party in 2018, right before the midterm, and she said, we want to show that we're not unfriendly to business. We're not the enemy of business. Well, I think that maybe is where this comes from. Is they're afraid of what business would say.
That's what the Democrats have been doing since the 80s when Ronald Reagan backed us into a corner and they wimped out from then on, right? It's the don't fight back. Ronnie was popular. We're tax and spend. Okay, we're tax and spend. And guess what? That's the brand we got for, 30, 40 years. And it's the same problem we have. It's like, look, you can be pro-business and you can make the case that you're pro-business. Guess what? People with $15 an hour in their pocket, they got a lot more money to spend at business. I mean, that argument doesn't take nuance. It doesn't take people thinking a lot. I got more money. I spend more money. Business grows. I mean, it's just...
Well, then it's like even talking to my buddy Mears, who owns a big plumbing company around here that I have had all these arguments with, right? He's a relatively smart guy, and we just have dropout wars because we were actually entertained by that because he's not a dumb person, although he is a raging asshole. He's okay with it when I tell him that. But he makes these same arguments, right? Like, oh, if we do 15, like business is going to slow down or whatever. I said, name one place ever where they raised the minimum wage and business got worse. Right. Go Google it. Go find it.
Right.
I've done this exercise. That doesn't exist. Everyone kept talking about San Francisco or whatever. They were going to raise the minimum wage, and oh my God, all the restaurants were going to close. Guess what fucking happened to the restaurant industry in San Francisco? It's booming, motherfucker. Right. So just show them the data on that. And then he flipped around on it, but normal Republicans won't because they are immune to facts.
Well,
Don,
and look,
Don is in the comments saying they're afraid prices will go up. If by they, we mean Democratic Party leadership, here's the problem with that. It's not fucking true, as Corey is so eloquently announcing in the window next to me. It's not true. No place it's happened has that happened that prices have gone up. Didn't happen in Seattle. Didn't happen in San Francisco.
Yeah, sorry. I think you're right. Now,
right? So it's not a thing. Data shows us otherwise, and I expect the Democratic Party leadership of Florida to be more concerned about data than about what Republicans might think that they might get their feel bads hurt.
Well, I think there's another factor here I just want to speak to a little bit is that kind of we're all inherently selfish, and if you're a small business owner who's not paying $15 an hour, you're not thinking about the data of the past historical runs. You're thinking of I got to come up with another third more of what I'm paying people now, or 50% more than what I'm paying people now. I can't afford that, because for you, it's hard to imagine that you're going to start seeing the influx of people that are making more, bringing more money into your business. I know the reality is they will, but I in fairness, I do want to say that that's an argument I'm sure that goes into the heads of that, the guy who owns the plumbing company or the guy who owns whatever is, well, shit, I can't afford that right now. How long until I see the upside of it? So I get it, but obviously it works. It works over and over and over again. So I think it's just a matter of how we message it. I got into another defund thing yesterday because I commented on an Andrew Yang post, and we are just atrocious about how we message things. We continue to believe that the American people will think, and we continue to believe that nuance is not dead, and that people are not inundated with 5 million channels of information coming into our heads, and that we somehow will get their attention and then explain, the intricacies of our policy ideas. It's, I'm
It's just there's proof it doesn't work.
40 years
Unless
of
it's over,
bad messaging.
right, over long enough periods of time with enough riots, Black Lives Matter actually started polling properly, and I say properly because but it does. That requires a 1-inch logical jump that 60% of the American people would rather not pay attention to. They would rather go watch football.
Yeah.
Or more, right? Like
Yeah.
it took everyone getting stopped, everyone being stuck in their homes, a guy being literally murdered on the streets, on camera, for them to be like, wait a minute, maybe Black lives do matter. I kind of get it now, right? That's the thing. And I don't know how to express this to other Democrats, but the simplest, lesson is that the simple lies over and over and over again work infinitely better than a nuanced position that will actually help people.
That's right.
It shouldn't be true. It sucks that we live in that universe, but that's the one that we live in. So we need to absolutely be super genius at framing things. And the freedom dividend is my favorite example, right? 'Cause it's just universal basic income. We all know that. But the second you name it freedom dividend, everyone's like, well, I like freedom and dividends.
I want to go back.
And he tested it, right?
Right,
He
yeah.
tested the messaging.
Math.
What do people like more? Oh, let me go with that. How about the boost our business bill instead of increase the minimum wage bill?
Right. Well, and they even asked him. They ask him all the time, "Why'd you call it the freedom dividend?" Tested better. He'll tell you.
Yeah, exactly.
Tell me he likes the name better.
Exactly.
Yeah, I want to go back to the minimum wage question for a minute, because there's a couple of things about it, like that whole specious idea that small business owners are freaking out. First of all, it's going to take so long to get to 15. By the time we get there, under the way that amendment was written, we're going to need 25.
Yeah.
It's going to take over 6 years, so it's not like that outlay is going to come all at once
Immediately.
in year one. And second, there's this bigger moral argument. If you can't afford to pay your people a living wage, maybe you deserve to fail as a small business. I'm sorry, but that's if we want to talk about free market, right? But we want to tie that to social policies that don't destroy people's lives, like, I don't know, European capitalism seems to be flourishing in doing, then we're gonna have to fish or cut bait.
Well,
so we're either deciding to help people or we're deciding not to.
Yeah, and I think that's very true. I completely agree with you that if you're not running a profitable enough business to pay people a living wage, then you need to rethink how you're running your business. Obviously, from a messaging perspective, though, I think we need to say, hey, more money in people's hands equals more people buying your donuts.
Exactly.
Or whatever it is.
Exactly. It's trickle up economics. More demand means more people buying stuff. If that's the thing, and Canada's doing this massive UBI test right now. Everybody in Canada has been getting $2,000 a month since the pandemic started.
Oh my gosh.
And now there's a lot of elected officials in Canada looking at all the numbers going like, well, as a nation, we haven't died yet. Inflation is not moving significantly right now at all. So why don't we maybe just start thinking about doing a version of this and seeing this demand flow ubiquitously into the bottom of our economy at all times?
Because people will sit at home and inject heroin.
Bad messaging. Bad. It's okay. It's the heroin clinics are free in Canada too. So whatever. We got it.
That's
got
awesome.
it. We got it. Got you.
Good answer.
Okay. Right? We got a plan for that.
Oh, man.
Anyways, so Trump is still president. He's not leaving. How do you think that goes? I don't know if we talked about this on the show, Greg. I think I might have been telling the people here that Cohen apparently is saying that he's predicting that Trump is going to go to Mar-a-Lago for Christmas, which is what he always does.
Not come back.
And not come back.
Yeah, I saw that.
I go back and forth between this is the grift. He's just trying to get as much cash in the door for post presidency, and they're playing us, planting those stories, and he's really not going anywhere. And I bounce back and forth. I'm just like,
I've been doing the same thing. I was doing some research on the faithless electors thing again, and it really, like, in Pennsylvania, for example, they've got all these court proceedings in there. We all know they're bullshit. The courts keep laughing them out of the court, but they keep putting in new ones. They started talking about the constitutionality of every single mail-in vote or whatever. So now we're forced to consider the possibility that all of the Democratic electors get together in Pennsylvania. They have their little meeting and they take their stuff to Congress. Fine, but the Republicans send in a bunch, as well. And now we have two sets. So there's not really any rules for that except the Congress has to decide.
Actually, somebody last night said that constitutionally, and I haven't read this, that the Congress has to accept the governor's slate.
Right, the governor of Pennsylvania has said we're not playing with electors.
Right. Okay.
Right on down the chain, they've said no, we're not.
Yeah.
We're going to recognize the popular vote.
Thank you for that.
As the basis for our elector selection. That's happening.
I hope, you imagine if, like, more states just do that. Well, the popular vote is, like, not close in the country, so we're just going to do that. I think California's been talking about doing that. I think Colorado as well. There's a few other states
right
talking about doing the popular vote amendment.
Yeah, I think there's 14 states or 15 that are working towards, making that the bylaw basis for how they select electors, and that's a good thing.
Did I see that? Sorry, Greg. Did I see that ranked choice narrowly passed in Alaska?
Yeah, looking
Yep.
good.
All right.
I'm excited.
So this is interesting for Lisa Murkowski, because she's had to lean right for quite a while now to preserve that conservative vote. She may not have to do that anymore.
Yeah,
so
that
that's
is true.
Didn't she win on a write-in too?
Oh, I don't know. I don't know.
Not this time. If
The
she
first
was
time?
The first time, I think she won on a write-in.
Only in Alaska could you do that.
Back when she was like an actual independent, not a like no. This is not Trump in my mouth.
I don't have a source for this, but I was told that Biden was down by 14 in Alaska, which is the closest the Democrat has been in Alaska since the 50s.
Wow.
So that's fascinating. Also, that Arizona, by the way, late last night.
Hold. I'm about to say the same thing. Through someone I don't quote Meghan McCain ever, but let her deliver this news that you were about to share.
Okay. Yep. There you go.
That's awesome.
Meghan McCain, there's 30% of the time though when I'm just like, oh, geez, you sound just like your dad. It's like you get this close,
yeah,
and then you veer off into weird land.
I'm constantly with I was actually going down her feed the other day because of something that happened, and I'm like, oh yeah, oh shut the fuck up, and it's like,
Well, during the Black Lives Matter protests in New York City, she posted, oh, there's tear gas, and then oh, horrible, it's awful. And someone replied to her tweet, calm down, Meghan. I live in your building. It's not bad outside.
Oh, I saw that. She wasn't even there.
Yeah. Riots on the streets of New York and tear gas everywhere. I live in your building. It's not happening.
Yeah, you're fine. We would like to honor Fred Eder, who voted in Arizona and was the reason why Biden won Arizona. Thank you for that.
Thank you, Fred.
That's on you.
Thank you for saving the country single-handedly.
So both senators in Arizona and the presidential race, that's a big deal.
That
I
is.
don't know. Now I'm catching myself wondering now if this is a trend or if this is just Trump is so bad that it's having this effect. And I guess we'll have to wait and see. But the demographics in Arizona have been leaning our way for a while. So this feels like maybe a change that sticks. They may be purple for a couple of cycles, but it feels like Arizona's moving toward being a blue state. Welcome to the party, pal.
Oh, thank goodness. I think it is. I really do. I don't think it's just bad Trump, but maybe we got it one cycle earlier than we would have otherwise.
Right. Yeah. Hopefully we can solidify the gains. So one of the things Lindsey Graham has been yelling at everyone who will listen is that if Trump is allowed to get taken out of office, we're never going to win again. He said this since the election, by the way, I think the secret thing is like, what if he's right?
Yeah.
Like, don't threaten us with a good time, you stupid fucking clown. Like, we're fans of democracy on this side. You're willing to give it up for 6 more years in power. I mean, that, I don't want to say treason, but
treason.
I want to say it.
Yeah, right.
I don't know
I had
who
a feeling
Corey's,
I would.
I don't know who Corey's hanging around with, but I definitely want to say it. Although I remember back when we were having the Mueller discussion, I was very tentative about using the word treason because treason has some specific applications under the law, and that's not a word you want to toss around until you're absolutely sure it's happening, and provably, in a context like an impeachment or a prosecution. So treasonous, meaning leaning towards supporting other governments other than our own. Yeah, actual treason. That's going to be hard to prove.
Yeah, that makes sense. That definitely makes sense. But it's
Department-
fun to call them that.
Hey, Corey, Brad, I'm sure Brad will know this. Who appoints the head of the Department of Homeland Security?
I would assume, I guess it's not the president because that makes it seem like an obvious answer.
But if it's not the president himself, it's definitely a presidential appointee, right?
I would assume so, yes.
Yeah. Well, see, that's what makes this next this next headline really compelling. Department of Homeland Security calls the election the most secure in American history.
Yes. Well, isn't she about to get fired though? That's
the head of cybersecurity.
Yeah, she's fucked now.
Yeah, but their investigation, and they did one. Yesterday their big announcement was that's the most secure election in American history. There's no evidence of any voting machine tampering, which is that whole 300,000 votes flipped for Biden bullshit thing. Imagine
that. Oh,
more than 130
Holy
Secret
shit.
Service officers are said to be infected with coronavirus or quarantining in wake of Trump's campaign blitz.
That's terrifying because that's not a big organization.
No. I mean it'll be terrifying January 21st. It's not so terrifying right now.
Yeah, it's bad on their depth chart, that's for sure.
Right? Well, yeah, they had to start bringing the Proud Boys in now. What could possibly go wrong?
Private security by the Hells Angels. What could possibly go wrong?
I would almost prefer
Did
them.
you hear about the new civics training going to happen in Alabama? Did you guys hear our senator-elect there thinks the three branches of government are the House, the Senate, and the executive?
Yes. And also that he wants Alabama to succeed from the Union.
Yeah.
I saw that.
So Confederacy of Dunces.
It's funny because you said Confederacy in there because Alabama's part of the Confederacy, Greg. That's why that's funny.
It's even funnier because you're
Now it's
explaining it.
very funny.
Dumb.
You're so meta. we're metasexuals. That's for sure.
Sure. Yeah. All right.
Oh, that needs a T-shirt. I think you guys need coffee T-shirts.
We do need coffee t-shirts. It's true.
I'm a metasexual. That's
Yep.
good.
Yep.
That's awesome.
Fucking Alabama. So what do you guys think of just kicking them out? Hey, because Quebec does this in Canada.
Decertifying Alabama.
Yeah.
What do we lose? What do we lose? Gulfport?
Oh no.
Oh, that's
so-
Mississippi. Wrong state. Sorry.
Yeah,
Gulf
sure.
Shores.
So we'll take Aspers, and everyone else can fuck off. So Quebec does this all the time in Canada, right? Quebec's like, oh, well, Quebec, blah blah blah, give us more money, blah blah, and whatever, right? And
That's
exactly what they sound like, and I could do that because I also can speak Quebecois French, which is terrible. And that's a lie, I can't anymore. But they do it all the time. We're going to succeed, and we're going to have a referendum, and we're going to leave Canada, and the rest of Canada is like, get the fuck out. We're keeping Montreal, and you're not getting any more payments just for being French, you fucks.
Exactly.
And just goodbye now.
Yeah.
Can we keep Mobile? Sure, it's attached to Pensacola, so we'll just we'll extend our state line westward a bit.
I think Mississippi was talking secession this week as well, so let's bundle it all up.
Okay, here when they realize you don't get the transfer payments anymore.
I wonder if anybody there.
It works, right?
I wonder if anybody there has ever read a book, first of all, but specifically the books about what happened the last time we blockaded their ports. They lost the Civil War because of it.
Astounding.
Yeah.
Astounding.
Oh wow. Mary Ellen with a comment here. To my mom, don't send them to Canada. I received a letter from school the other day stating they legally have to tell me my daughter's virtual teachers are not actual teachers, so this isn't likely to get better. Yeah, no,
Wow.
I mean, on the COVID front, I mean, I like don't go look at the numbers. Just stay in your fucking house because it's gonna get bad everywhere.
It's really bad. Really,
Yeah, Ginny,
really bad.
that's a yeah. I also saw a bunch of them that were going to flee to Alaska or Hawaii because those countries have better laws. But yeah, why do Trumpers say they're heading to Canada? It literally has everything that they are against in America. Yeah, maybe Alberta.
Yeah, well, which still has everything they're fighting against. Just Alberta's the one place where they're like, "Oh, we're rich. We don't need any of this shit." I'm like, "Well, yeah, you kind of do." Anyway.
Yeah. So I wanted to share another graphic with you guys. This one got dropped on me yesterday.
Hold on. One more joke from my mom. A little Canadian joke. Newfies say they want Quebec to leave, so it won't take that long to get to Ontario.
I love Newfie jokes.
Newfie jokes.
I learned about Newfie jokes when I was in like 5th grade because I had a teacher who was from there, and she used to tell us Newfie jokes. Yeah, Newfoundland is like the Alabama of Canada in some ways.
They're all super
Texas
nice.
A&M of Canada. Aggie jokes.
Like, Newfies are the best at making Newfie jokes, and they're super fun, and they will drink your face under the table.
Unlike Mississippi and Alabama, they do not have any dry counties. Newfoundland.
No,
they don't have any dry people in Newfoundland.
Like it's where all the very drunk Scots and Irish people,
and some great folk music comes out of that part of Canada as
true.
well. All right, so this is I don't know how visible this graphic is going to be.
Pretty good.
It's not bad. Okay, so this is the numbers, and this shocked me, and this is we should be thinking more about how to talk about messaging. The less than 500 counties won by Joe Biden generated 70% of America's GDP in 2018. The more than 2,400 counties won by Donald Trump generated 29% of America's GDP in the same period. So Democratic policy at the granular county level seems to be a driving economic force in our country, overwhelmingly so. It's not like 55-45 here. That's a little math. I did a little math there. But it's like 70-30. It's a huge difference in who's producing, who's making money in our economy.
While all of that is obviously true, and we kind of knew that instinctually, inferentially for a long time, what's the 3-word version of that? Because this argument won't work. Right? That was more than 5 words, so it just bounced off every Republican's head.
Well, how about we proportion electoral votes by the amount of GDP produced?
Economic power?
Yeah.
Okay, but again,
I think Republicans love that.
They
probably would because they think
until they do the
in their reptilian brains that they are providing the economic incentive for America to prosper.
Well,
so they
we've
would vote for
decided
it
as a
thinking that they're
country
right.
that we want the people who are producing the most for the country to actually decide how the country is led. Wouldn't you agree, Republicans, that that's the fair way to do things? Yeah. I love this data, but it is a tough. Yeah, it's we make more money, we decide the rules.
Well, capitalism 101.
We're going back to what the founders thought. The
Corey,
rich men decide.
I got that from somebody else's post. Let me see if I can. I don't have a link for it. It came from the Brookings Institution. So I bet that's Brookings analysis of data from BEA, Dave Loop's Election Atlas,
awesome
and the New York Times. That's a really cool thing. It was posted in a thread where that conversation was going on. So I think you could probably look at Brookings to get a link for that, Corey.
I think the 3-word attack, this becomes an attack, is pull your weight, Republicans.
Well, that's what worked in Canada. Every time Quebec wants to secede, they get reminded of the vast economic power of the West. Supporting the provinces in the East that are, other outside of Ontario aren't exactly pulling their weight.
Yep.
Pull your weight. I like it.
Hey, Corey, I sent you a copy of a Kaylee McEnany tweet.
Yeah. We can throw that up on there
because I want to say what that actually means because this is their big new argument.
You guys see that?
You can click it.
Yeah, I did, and it got really weird. How about that? Hold on. I got this.
There you go.
What's up?
So she's making the argument that new affidavits filed in Pennsylvania, including texts and emails, show that voters in Democrat, of course, leaning counties were notified to fix their mail-in ballots, whereas Republican-leaning ones were not. So what she's saying is Republican counties suppressed Democratic votes by not helping them to cure their ballots because they knew 80% of those ballots were for Democrats, whereas Democrats made sure that everybody's mail-in ballot was cured.
Right.
I don't. It just drives me nuts that this, the liberal mainstream media, we control all the media, doesn't have the sense to pick up on this shit. It's like, oh, let's report. Kayleigh McEnany says new fraud allegations.
Right.
It's like, guys, this is
Like
not
they're
what
about
this
to take
means.
voter suppression to court by accident.
Exactly. It's astounding to me.
Yeah. Yeah. It. Well, and it's why we're here, right? Like the constant barrage of lies, frankly, and obfuscations or whatever. Like it automatically keeps us on our heels anyway, right? Like it's the Bannon strategy, keeping everybody on your heels by basically flooding the zone with dog shit. Everyone lies is always the thing, and I've heard this from so many Republicans when I said like Trump is the worst liar in American history. Yeah, but everybody lies. Are you fucking completely stupid? Anyway, but then then it's just a fight, and I haven't convinced anyone because that's the whole purpose behind the whole thing. But even here, the thing that Trump tweeted out yesterday about they're like switching votes on the machines and like just all these crazy fucking conspiracy theories. There's this, a bent, I think, to just be like, well, what if the Russians did do it, right? And now we're playing along. And I think like we're so freaking exhausted by this stuff, and it's impossible to keep up with it, that it just starts, eating its way even into the brains of people that know what's going on, and that's why they're winning.
Yeah.
Well, and then there's this. Right, so this is how relevant what Kayleigh McEnany has to say about it. Law firm Porter Wright withdraws from representing Trump in Pennsylvania. Guess why? Because you can't make wild-eyed assertions in a court of law. You have to actually have, evidence and standing. Yeah. And the law firms are beginning to recognize that they're going to get clobbered. Their reputations are going to get besmirched.
Their licenses will get yanked.
And once again, Lincoln Project and Midas both went after them and told everyone to call and connect to everybody they can on LinkedIn that works there. And they were already facing pressure this summer, and one of the partners resigned over representing the Trump campaign. So I love this type of battle. I love going after advertisers. I love going after, the underlying mechanisms that allow them to have their power.
Yes. Is Porter Wright what we would call a white shoe law firm, like one of the big inside the Beltway giants?
Probably so.
Virginia, I saw that go by in the comments first time. I'm sorry to get back to it. I'm not sure what Alito's speech we're talking about, so I'm sorry if I'm
not
up on that one.
Horrendous. I've got that somewhere. Hold on.
Yeah.
You got it?
No, I haven't. I don't even know what the context is for that, so I feel bad. I don't know, but
it's the most political speech I've ever seen by a
here's the Fox News headline: Justice Alito warns of dangers to free speech, religious liberty, and Federalist Society stuff. What? Oh, great!
What?
Because Federalist Society has half the friggin' bench, but they're being discriminated
more
against.
now.
Here, I sent you the link.
All right. Got it.
While Corey's looking for that, I saw a number yesterday that I really liked. With 71% of the mandated Wisconsin recount done, Trump lost 8 votes and Biden gained 134. So this is part of the reason I'm a recount enthusiast.
Love it.
Because I have a feeling that's going to play out everywhere.
On this Alito thing, this is the kind of shit that I want to make everybody on the extreme alt left that wants to burn it all down and let Trump win again and all of that kind of play that they make. They need to really understand. To me, the judiciary is terrifying, and the impact it can have is terrifying because it's so indirect, and people don't see it in a new bill or a new law or anything else, and it absolutely terrifies the shit out of me.
Yeah, the lifetime appointments thing is that I think that's the part of it that scares me the worst.
Yeah.
Maria Richardson, like what Will McAvoy said in the newsroom and in the famous studio speech, if liberals are so fucking smart, why do they always lose? I love that show so much. I watch it once in a while just to give myself hope.
All right, so just reading some of the outtakes here. He took on the restrictions of in-person worship services during the pandemic because you should be allowed to put other people in physical deadly jeopardy to pray to your imaginary icon. An issue that is currently before the court, as well as Oberfeld versus Hodges, the opinion that cleared the way for same-sex marriage nationwide. Again, not that we told you that screwing up this court was going to put your gay brothers and sisters' marriages in jeopardy, but it is. He also returned to the issue of the Second Amendment and touched on the possibility that Democrats may seek to restructure the size of the court. You bet your fucking ass we will. His comments on religious liberty at times echoed those of President Donald Trump, who has never fucking believed in God and doesn't give a shit about your religion. Obviously, I'm paraphrasing slightly. He would prevent the federal government from bullying and even punishing Americans for following their religious beliefs. Only Corey wants that. In addressing COVID-19, Alito pointedly noted that he was not trying to diminish the severity of the pandemic. He's going to, which he said is taking a heavy human toll, leaving thousands dead, hundreds of thousands, many more hospitalized. He said, "I'm a judge, not a policymaker." What is it? Oh, is this one of the other outtakes?
No, this is from Ginny. Lifetime appointments made sense. It was to keep them from being swayed, but since they can serve on boards of corporations, what the fuck? That safeguard is outdated. Right, that's the crux of the matter right now, because we know that some justices have been making decisions that they have a stake in because they're sitting on boards that are
I had
affected
no
by
idea
decision.
they could serve on boards.
Yeah,
I gotta back it up just a little bit because you're obviously right about all of that. Chet is making a really, really good point as far as messaging on our side. Alt left is a Trump term.
Right.
If it's a Trump term, let's get rid of it. Because
I've never heard anybody on the right say alt left. I say alt left
I've heard it constantly.
because they act as extreme as the alt right.
Well, and again, if we call it the burn it down crowd, I'm totally back in, right? Because those people are clearly the enemy of the project of trying to have a Democratic Party that actually runs and governs. But yeah, I've heard Republicans use that term all the time. And my favorite Republican who uses that term all the time is Rio, and he uses exactly the way the Republicans do it. So to me, it's fake news. The second that he started saying fake news and people in our community started saying fake news, Greg will attest to this because I got real uppity about it. I just blanket banned it because every single time we use the term fake news, that makes what they're saying real in the body politic, and it's exactly what happened.
I've never heard enough. I'm the only person I've heard use alt left, so I have never heard a Republican say alt left. So I don't know. I want to make the point. The reason I use it is to piss them off because I want them to know I think they're as shitty as Americans as the alt-right.
they're seen in the same with the same lens as the alt-right is.
And that's why I use the term, because I think they're as bad as the alt-right for the country and for people.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're in the burn it down, like screw it, let's get more Trump, then obviously the sentiment I completely agree with.
Yep, Virginia, bring in the facts. Clarence Thomas, not Thompson, serves on the Monsanto board.
That's just
Right. And I believe his wife has a stake in several companies that they made decisions on in the past few years. That's not okay. That is not okay.
Yeah, they're more like anarchists, except that, like, doesn't Chet call himself a narco-communist? See the names. It all just gets blended and stupid.
Yeah.
Just, like, be cool, man. I don't know. That's all I got, which is obviously super helpful.
so I was talking about ranked choice voting again the other day online.
Go on.
Online being my entire life, so I guess I don't have to say online.
Yeah.
And my theory is that as people on the extreme left of the Democratic Party and people on the right of the Democratic Party piss me off because I'm somewhere in the middle there, and leftish and middle-ish, I really want ranked choice voting because I want the people on the extreme left that I think have some dangerous ideas and some bad and some outdated ideas. I want them to have a voice because I want us to be able to have perspective. I want the libertarians to have a voice. I want the right side of the Democratic Party to have a voice. I even want the crazy far right Trumpers to have a voice. And I don't think there's any way for that to happen, because I personally, and I'll probably offend some viewers here, I don't want my party to be the AOC party. And so maybe my party isn't the Democratic Party. But I think there's some really bad ideas and some really good ideas that come from that wing of the party. And I want us to be able to discuss it. And I think what ranked choice voting does is it forces collaboration, because it divides the parties up. And it gets us back to a place of people actually having to work together, because they will pass nothing, because it's no longer all or nothing. And I think it will take time. I don't think it's a panacea, but I think it is one of the best ways to restore a slight amount of sanity to governing in this country.
Right.
So
I want to drop a link in the comments and explain it. Radio Lab last year did a really good podcast about ranked choice voting, like
Cool,
an explainer
Radio
podcast,
Lab.
and it covered an Irish election, and it was pretty compelling. It's a little wonky. You know what I mean? It's a bit of deep sledding, because there's math involved. And it sounds super complicated, but it isn't. But the first thing to remember is in Ireland, they still vote at their town hall with paper ballots, right? So you have people milling around the room and shifting from one side to the other, which probably wouldn't happen in an American ranked choice voting system. But it's a really good explainer for people that had good ideas that were not part of the two major parties, ended up, in seats of power, because enough people saw the second choice as good enough that they ended up doing better. And I honestly think Andrew Yang would have fared better in any ranked choice voting scenario that we could come up with.
Absolutely.
Because so many people across all party lines were on the boat for him. I think that
and they
would
were
have made a huge
nervous
difference.
because they didn't think he could win. It's that whole dilemma of, I don't think he can actually win, so I got to go for the guy I think is most probable and I can agree with.
Yeah, and I think the race to the margins is what we're seeing now, right? Like the fact that the country is so divided is not by chance; it's because of the system.
Yeah,
right? You're rewarded in an electoral system by going as far to the part of your party as humanly possible, because that's the way you get elected in a primary. And then it's basically just the two sides fight out, and then that starts to create the information bubble so that we can't even talk to each other anymore, because everybody watching Fox News is literally has their head full of dog shit. Because I'm not going to truck that false equivalence
What,
thing.
you mean the liberals at Fox News?
Yeah, right. There's a difference between Republicans and Democrats. We're using facts and they're not. And I'll stand by that until the fucking day I die, because it's true, which is not frustrating to me at all when dealing with certain libertarian friends of mine.
Backing up just a little bit for the choice quality quip here. Elizabeth Wood, if you can't afford soup for your family on a single Supreme Court salary, maybe the Supreme Court isn't for you.
that's awesome.
That's well played. That's well played.
Awesome.
Good stuff.
Yeah, I think the message is we're giving you we're giving you more choice. And I'm a lifelong Democrat. I right now today I want Democrats to dominate every level of government. But I'd much rather have a voice for me and my viewpoints that doesn't have to move severely one direction or the other. So I'm willing to, for me personally, I'd much rather have ranked choice voting, and I'd like to have more options. And look, I want only Democratic policies to be implemented. I want only Democrats to win. But at the end of the day, it's a really bad idea for us to have total unbridled control, or any party to have total unbridled control, because when that happens, you get more corruption, you get more bad ideas, you get more, follow along with the leader.
Yep.
I want people on the right and left of me.
Loyal opposition was baked in, right?
Yeah.
Having just royalist control of everything we had to do and pay is why we had a rebellion and founded a new country. So they baked in the idea of conflict, making decisions, including the minority's opinion and voice. So, I'm the same way. I want us to be much more liberal than we are. I want to have the argument that Virginia asked about. She'd like to see a coffee show where we talk about the idea of fiscal conservative, social liberal, which is, I think, a fallacy, because those economic fiscal things affect everything. poverty affects everything. It affects crime. It affects health. It affects all the things we say we want to fix. And so if you're fiscally conservative, my argument would be that you can't be socially liberal, because the programs that you want defunded are the programs that save people's lives and keep them from falling into lives of crime. Poverty-stricken neighborhoods are more desperate. People in those neighborhoods commit more crime. Guess why? Because they can't afford soup for their families.
Yep.
That's the baseline for that. There's no opportunity in those communities. But of course, they have to want to succeed, as Jared Kushner, pampered baby boy, so eloquently told us last week. The president can't want them to succeed more than they want to succeed. Fuck that guy.
You know what the name of this video is?
No.
I'm gonna name it right now, because it's supposed to be named like, oh, cutesy wootsy, yay. This is murder practice.
Oh no. Needs a new career.
He's so bad.
That's hilarious.
Murder practice. I eat you. There. Anyway.
And the little bird's like, bitch, I'll be able to fly.
Yeah, right? Yeah, you better kill me soon. Okay, I just made that awkward. All right, I got to call it. I got another call I got to get to in 15 minutes.
I actually have to go earn money.
Oh, what? You guys have shit to do?
I guess.
That sucks.
I got to do a call we're dropping that single for Uplift.art on Sunday, so I'm supposed to do a call.
Nice. Is that the Wildflowers one, or
no? That's we're giving that one away. Yeah, we're dropping the Bitcoin Bull, the I'm Not the Bull one on Sunday.
Oh, nice. Corey played a studio produced version of him covering Tom Petty's Wildflowers yesterday. It's the best best recording of Corey I've ever heard.
You got that up? Let me see a link.
Nobody except for Greg and my wife has heard that, but I might send you a preview, because you're like in the in crowd, especially if you send me those decks on the projects you're in.
Oh crap! Yeah, I'll do that today, buddy.
There you go. I'll trade. And
Excellent.
Greg, you're right. Like this literally is probably the best recording of me that has ever happened. Like I did stuff that I
want to hear
do.
Whoever did that do
and
Solace and
he's got the bed tracks for Solace already. That's the next release that we're doing is going to be a Corey original. So
do you have a earring on your headphones?
No, this over here. I guess it sort of is. This is actually a little tiny piece of dried ayahuasca vine.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. A friend of mine.
I didn't realize that's what that was. That's cool.
A friend of mine gave that to me.
I thought you just wanted to carry your hipness out to the headphones level. So
yeah,
you know what he doesn't have. What he doesn't have. That's true. He doesn't have that. Just keeping it real Sasquatch on his desk.
Doesn't have that.
Yeah,
that's true.
That's a thing.
Yeah,
that's very true.
Yet another merch. You guys need to merch up. Come on. Let's get the metasexual shirts. Hashtag metasexual.
You have to actually have some revenue.
And the Sasquatch. You don't have to have revenue to merch.
No, you don't.
Dude.
We've got I think we've got enough to do at least a little bit of testers, or we could just do the thing. But I just wanted to just the murder kid.
Will you send me that so I can listen to my wife go, oh.
What?
Yeah, she'll think it's cute.
He wants to link to the video.
Oh, so she could go. Okay, that for some reason sounded
or and hear me out.
Metasexual even.
She could watch the show.
Yeah, no.
That's crazy.
No,
wives don't watch this shit.
And I can't add to her already hyper stressed level with more discussions of politics.
I think that's actually why Michelle doesn't watch this either. She gets to talk to me outside of this. She's like, I can't hear this again. I'll lose my mind.
No, it's 25 times a day. Is this true? Is this true? I'm scared. Yeah.
I have a cadre of people in a Facebook chat that every day I'm having to explain. No, he can't win by declaring martial law. If he did, it would be a civil. So I'm fielding a lot of those kind of questions in this chat, and I'm glad to do it. I'm there's things that I know that, or at least can look up that they're not. This is not what they do every day. So I like that role.
Remember when I bolted on election night? It was because my wife and daughter were upstairs sobbing.
It was not a good night,
and I said, "We knew this was going to happen." Just please wait.
We wanted it not to happen so bad, though. Right? 2018 for me, the cycle was the same way. We went to bed that night destroyed for our local friends who all lost, right? But over the next several days, it was like,
Right.
it's not so bad.
Maybe
right?
we won. Yeah.
Right. So just for the people commenting, Mom, I did send you the link. I will send it to you again because you were supposed to. I mean, I got all the harmonies from my mom.
The wives in our viewing audience are really mad at you now, Corey.
I'm sorry, but yeah, their husbands don't listen. So it's like, sorry, I should have said spouse. Some of us handle this show, and the rest of us are like, no. Anybody else that wants to hear that Wildflowers thing, if you sign up at uplift.art, throw your email address in there.
Nice.
Tell me that you did. And if you want to participate in the drop, you need to actually have Wax token this weekend. You can get packs for $5 or $20, and it's like 50% is going to charity. It's a whole big thing, which you can learn about at uplift.art. Then I will send you a copy that is listenable in Messenger today.
Sweet.
Oh.
There you
There you go. Direct action.
That's a deal.
Boom.
I like it. All right. Yeah. Sasquatch is real. Oh, you
It
already
is.
ended. Oh, you
No,
didn't end it yet. You're good.
Now,
Yeah.
now,
Sure.
now.
Okay.
Now.
Somebody say 1, 2, 3, go.
1, 2, 3, go.